During the first year of radio, that's when the voiceover stuff began to be unlocked. The industry works differently from how we perceive it. Sometimes I even get surprised when somebody recognizes me.
So you're just being you.
I'm being me. I should have a snack before I do a voiceover. Oh, that's your
Mr. Lemba.
Mr. Phiri.
Thank you very much for doing this, man.
Thank you.
I know you're busy. So you've been doing this for over 10 years now, voiceover, your work. But every time we hear your voice, you sound fresh, you sound hungry. What keeps you going?
You know, the reality is that now, each one, let me start saying that each voiceover that I do, I treat it like it's the first time, in a sense. Sometimes when muscle memory comes to play, so if I've done, for example, an ad for a sports channel in the past, then some of that vibe, some of that source from a previous session might sneak in. But in terms of the content, I'm looking at what communication is being put forward and treating that as a fresh piece of communication, because each job has a different outcome that's anticipated. So that's why I think it sounds fresh. But then I also wanted to just dial back and say I'm getting old, Chuma, because first voiceover I did was, what are we in now? 28 years ago, or somewhere there.
Yeah.
1995-ish. And that's a long time of,
But the voice doesn't sound like you're getting old. It actually sounds better every time.
Because I'm also a student.
Yeah.
So as much as I put out, voice and like I'm a veteran in some circles and some people, I've got a guy in Nigeria who over the years I've become close with. His name is Emmanuel. And some people know him as King E. And he calls me Elder. Elder Chilu, how are you? So I'm considered veteran in that respect, but I'm also a student. Every year I'm learning something new about the craft.
Yeah.
Either from a business angle, from a technical angle, from a technique angle. There's always something new to learn. So I'm absorbing stuff. And even as we slip into this new year, there's some areas that I want to improve in, and so I know that I'm going to probably be at the feet of some guru, you know, during the course of this coming year. So yeah, there's still a lot to learn.
Is that the trick, or is that the formula to always sound better, to still be hungry, always wanting to learn?
I think so. I mean, earlier on you did say you always sound, you sound fresh, you sound hungry. I was taking hungry literally, like, hey man, I should have a snack before I do a voiceover. Chuma thinks I sound hungry. No, I'm teasing. But I think that is part of it, man. I think you just have to have the hunger to improve and not to be in your own head. You know, a lot of guys who do
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, because I see a lot of guys who do voiceover. They think as long as I've got some melody, some rhythm, then you're missing the point, because it's not about you. It's about the message that's being communicated. So you should actually be, stepping aside in a sense, and just understanding what you're communicating and make that the champion. So there's sometimes when and it's interesting because now we're in the age of social media. So you get times when people will go into the booth, put the camera there, film themselves doing voiceover. I'm old school in the sense that I think that partly removes the magic, because when you hear me do a voiceover, you don't know where it is. You know what I mean? It could be like in a $20 million studio if they exist. It
or
could
a
be
bedroom studio.
Or a bedroom studio, you know what I mean? Like your imagination should kind of, run wild in that respect. And I think maybe some of that's taken away when you film yourself doing it. So that's one part of it. But the second part of it is, I think if you are filming yourself doing the actual take, then maybe you're not concentrating or giving it as much attention as you should, because now you're looking at the optics. You're focused on the angle. Have I got enough lip balm on my lips? You know what I mean? You're thinking of all those things. And I've seen guys like Gabe Kunda, for example, who Gabe Kunda is probably one of the most successful voiceover artists in the world currently. He does like the Marvel movie trailers and whatnot. He's based in the States. And when I've seen him do booth stuff a number of times, it's after the fact. So the ad, for instance, if he does the voiceover for the trailer for Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
when he does the video of him doing it, it will be after the trailer's already been done. You know what I mean?
It's out there
It's
already.
out there already, and then he'll say, "I did it something like this." You know what I mean? But it won't be that performance, because on the day of the performance, he's he's concentrating on giving his best for that particular trailer. So yeah, I think that's the thing. Just be committed and understand that what your job is to lift the message off the piece of paper or the iPad screen or whatever, internalize it and communicate that message to the best of your ability. That's what you're getting paid for.
Nice. By the way, hook me up with Gabe. I would like to interview him.
Gabe?
Yeah,
I don't
please.
even know Gabe personally. I was going to say, if you get to him before I do,
I won already. I'm like, I'll get a hookup. At what point did you decide? Because coming from Zed, voiceovers were not that big.
Yeah.
Right? It's only becoming a popular market now. But when you left and went to South Africa, it was probably a new thing for you, right? Did you want to get into it as this is the business I'm going into? Or somebody just said, you know what? When's Chama voiceover ku Zambia?
So interestingly enough, when I was in Zambia, my journey was rapping, then 96 or so radio. Then during the first year of radio, that's when the voiceover stuff began to be unlocked, because Errol Hickey, who owned Radio Phoenix, also used to do voiceover.
Yes.
And he was brilliant at that. But then obviously he didn't want to be the only voice on the station. So he started grooming a bunch of us. And I started doing well with the ones on the station. Then that extended to me doing stuff externally for, ad agencies and stuff. I always joke about showing how old I am, because I was the MMD campaign voice in 96. And that's like long ago. So when
That's flexing, right? That's a flex.
We put a government in power. By 98 or so, the money that I was making from media in Zambia was put in this way. If it was a hierarchy, it was at the top probably emceeing, because I was doing a lot of emceeing of events, then voiceover, then radio salary. That's kind of how it was. And then I think voiceover at some point maybe might have surpassed the thing. So when I went to South Africa in 99, my thought was, I'm going to be studying, but I've got my eye on voiceover and radio. Voiceover, but radio. And even the registrar at the college I was going to be enrolling in was like, you're going to do so well. You'll be in class, then you'll do voiceover. So that's what I thought was going to be the case. And that was not the case, because, as I've said a number of times, I ended up being a waiter for a year, 6 months. But when the voiceover door opened, it was different budgets compared to
the market
budgets
you're from.
Exactly. And so the way it is over there is it's very specialized. If you're doing voiceover, then you're the voiceover guy. You're not expected to be the script guy. You're not expected to be the mixing dude. You're just doing that. And that's one of the, I think, differences with the situation I was accustomed to. And so, it took a long time to get into the system and be a dependable name that pops up in conversations for big campaigns. But once that started happening, then it's, like busy air day, So sometimes now I turn away jobs because I can't, in terms of capacity and time. But it took a while. But
I'm glad you mentioned that you turn away jobs now. Do you know you're a big deal?
I'm not really a big deal. The moment I start believing the moment I start believing that I'm a big deal and start eating into that, I think it will affect the way that I do the job, because at the end of the day, it's a job. It's a means to an end. You know what I mean? So I do voiceover because I've got other things that I need to fulfill, and the avenue that brings in the most income based on my talents is voiceover. So it also helps, Chuma, that I'm in, I jokingly say I'm in the public ear.
Yeah.
So sometimes I even get surprised when somebody recognizes me, because I'm not out there. I might be making as much money as somebody who's out there, but quietly so, which works for me.
Yeah.
So big deal with a small b, I think.
Yeah.
I think. You
maybe-
disagree.
No, I
can see-
disagree.
I can see that look.
I guess for you, that's how you keep yourself grounded by not allowing it to get to your head. But you do know you're a big deal. I mean, if people will recognize you just
Yeah.
from hearing your voice, Nishi ndiwe mkali.
Sometimes so, but it was more so when I was on radio.
Yeah.
So when I was on radio here in Zambia, then it would be like, I remember one time, I used to, back in the day, buy a lot of cigarettes, Mantemba, and I remember one time, because that was like 97 or so, and I was very conscious of the brand that I was building on radio. But then again, I was an everyday ordinary chap. And I remember one time, I think I was in Nyumbayanga, and I went to buy, I think like it was 2 cigarettes, because that's what I could afford. I couldn't afford boxes.
Yeah.
I buy the 2 cigarettes, I'm walking back out, then I hear the lady who sold me the stuff saying, "Oh, so ndiye Chilu Lemba hapa Phoenix."
Sharpshooter bomb.
And I can hear the other person who she's talking to like so disappointed, like, because in their mind, media-wise, this guy is like
Saying
a
he could've got
brand,
2 sticks.
but we'll got 2 sticks, you know what I mean? So I started thinking like, I need to do better.
You mentioned earlier that, you're not really a public person, but your voice is in our ears all the time.
Yeah.
Your socials are fresh, man.
Yeah, and that's what I'm finding now, that a lot of people that know me, and I'm surprised that they know me, that's the point of contact. So like as we speak now, I think Facebook is the main one for me, because that's like on 80,000, which is interesting, because you kind of think like what from what I do justifies those kind of numbers, but it is what it is.
So from where we're sitting, it looks like you've figured out the algorithm. You know how to play around with that space.
I think so. I think so. I mean, like there's certain things that you can do which just provoke thought, and they're naughty in a sense.
Yeah.
So like I think it was last week I was on that cruise in Livingston.
Yeah.
And so took a photo on that boat. Nice experience. When I took the photo on Instagram, it had a different caption. But when I went to Facebook, because I know that audience, I said Pawato. So I know that like some guys were like, "What is he saying? Is PF?" Some guys will know. You just don't know. But then there's conversation.
Yeah.
So So I think I'm more au fait with how to communicate with the Facebook audience. I'm yet to. Instagram is about floss and game.
It's so why I'm even bringing the socials up is because most of your generation, that's something, that's a space they've really
You just
failed.
made me feel so old, man. Most of your generation.
You're old guy.
What's cool there?
Yeah, they've failed to navigate that space because especially the way you have found the balance between posting your personal stuff and work. You kind of have figured it out very well, and it works.
I think you can connect with it because it's basically what I used to do on radio, but just transplanting that, because but you see, that's the thing. When I was on radio, I was about jokes, I was about punchlines, I was about that thing. I wasn't much about the music. Even Carol, my wife, will tell you she should be like Smash is her favorite DJ because he plays the jam she likes.
Yeah.
But why do I play Seal?
The boring stuff.
Why do I play all like? Because for me it was about the communication aspect. I'm not saying anyone else. Every approach is cool.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that was my approach, and so I've just kind of taken that approach. In terms of the humor, in terms of the psychology of it, and put it in one different space, and it seems to be working.
So you're just being you.
I'm being me.
Yeah,
I'm being.
You're just being you.
I'm sprinkling some me sauce.
Because most of us think when we go on the socials, we need to change. We need to be this alter ego. We need to, I need to live up to people's expectations.
And I think to a different degree, some of the platforms dictate that. So when you're on LinkedIn, there's a certain professional aura that you have to display. So the way that you communicate, you can't have a post, I think, I might be wrong because things are changing, but you can't have one post which then works for all platforms.
Yeah.
I think you have to kind of distinguish and figure out, like TikTok, for example. I do a lot of when I do a thing like a voiceover challenge on TikTok, tens of thousands of views, sometimes in the millions. I kid you not. Then when I do a normal thing, views are limited because maybe I haven't understood that platform that well. Recently, I was out of the country, and I get fascinated by time lapses. So I, put the camera in the room to face the cityscape, and for me, that makes a good visual. You're seeing the morning break in front of you with the camera, and I think that's like beautiful. And I put that on TikTok. The views are thin.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, TikTok people don't like time lapses. But then when I view the TikTok feed of mine from a different device, so almost like I'm a viewer of various TikTok things, then my feed comes on and I see that time lapse, like, oh, this is boring. This is boring. Why am I doing time lapse? Then you realize that that's the wrong piece of content for that platform, So you have to figure things out, I think.
Yeah, nice. Let's get a little personal. Talk about your personal life a little bit. You live with 3 women.
I do.
How's that? Are you always outnumbered?
So funny story. Some time ago, there was a WhatsApp group. We've got a WhatsApp group as a family. It's called Lemba Squad. It has 4 members, and there was a WhatsApp group which I just found out about called Lemba Girls, which has 3 members. I'm like, so.
That's where they play.
Exactly. No, but it's really cool. I think the dynamic is cool. Right now we're on holiday with them, and just to see their personalities being so different is so refreshing. You got kids.
Yeah.
We go to Livingston. One of them is like, I'm gonna bungee jump. I'm like, bungee jump. And then you're there and everyone's watching, whatnot. The person's getting prepped, and I'm thinking, oh, damn, we're about to be a WhatsApp group of 3 in the main group. If anything goes wrong out here, And then she jumps, and it's almost like, your heart's skipping a beat, and she's safe, but you're like traumatized, And the other one also, gamer and whatnot. So it's at the end of the day, I don't think I feel it in terms of gender anymore. I just see it in terms of interesting human beings.
My squad.
Yeah, my squad. I see it in gender when I start feeling a protectiveness, because I know how brothers be,
Yeah.
So at that point, there's like a protective instinct that kicks in. But other than that, I just kind of, see them. Another quick example regarding that is we go to a restaurant, and my wife orders a steak. And it's like a huge steak, whatnot. So when she's done, she's telling the waiter, no, that was too big. And the waiter says, yeah, no, maybe next time we can order the ladies' portion. It's better. Oh, yeah. So they agree, whatnot. Yeah, next time I'll order the ladies' portion. One of my daughters is on that's some discrimination stuff. Why is the ladies' portion? Why does the ladies' portion have to be small? And then, so it becomes a different conversation about equity and whatnot. And,
Nice,
so,
nice.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Glad you brought up the protection part. So I want to play a game with you. Daddy knows best.
Oh, man.
When are they allowed to drive?
When it's a tough one because one of my girls is 17, so she's already on. When I do my learners, I think they're allowed to drive when I'm out the house and that conversation's happening with their mother.
Really? Really?
Well,
what is the problem with them driving?
They can drive, but the thing is that sometimes as parents, it's difficult to let go. You know what I mean? I'm every day dealing with like crazy people on the road as I drive, and I'm thinking, but is she ready to deal with this mess on the lanes of the roads in whatever country? But to be honest, just when they're of age legally and they're allowed to, then it happens.
But it will be hard for you.
It will be hard, but you can't.
Daddy knows best.
Gloves, yeah.
When are they allowed to sleep out?
Well, they in a very organized fashion, they already do that right now. Play dates, whatnot. So I think that's already happening. Yeah. When
are they allowed to bring a boy home?
I think how old am I now? 48. I think when I'm like 62, we can No, but even currently, they've got friends who are dudes, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes I enter the house, I'm just hearing like my baritone is being exceeded by some other
who has taken my space.
17-year-old kid. Like, what's going on here? But they're friends with guys of the different gender, and I think it's healthy at this point because you know. I think fewer surprises.
Yeah.
You know, like guys who go to what do you call those schools where there's just one gender? Co-ed, not co-ed.
No. At the time, what do they call them?
Yeah,
but I know what you mean.
Like I don't know if it's still the same. I was at an old boys' school, St. Raphael's or St. Raphael's.
Yeah,
you know those kind of schools.
It's
co-ed. Eh?
Yeah.
Are we right?
I
can see somebody shaking their head. No, you're co-ed. Co-ed no babili. Yes. So what's single?
It's called single.
Single.
Oh
no, but there must be a technical term.
Yeah, there
are few people in this room right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that kind of school when you get people who've been to those schools where there's one gender, you find that sometimes when they leave the school, there's a bit of
it's a culture shock. Like
yeah. It's a bit of an imbalance.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean, whether it be the dudes or the girls, and so I think it's nice to just have like you know relationships in a sense with other peers of your age of different genders as you go along.
If it were up to Daddy, would they move out?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. When they're at the right age, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're the first dad I've heard say I'm okay with my girls moving out. I think they're like, if it were up to me, they can just stay here.
But I think it's also your responsibility to, as a father, have a plan such that if for whatever reason things ain't working out, you've got to come bogade somewhere there
outside somewhere,
you know, where they can be safe. You know what I mean? Even if it could be yours where it's the main domicile, or it could be somewhere where you just kind of they have a roof. They have a roof.
Nice. Let's socialize a bit.
Okay.
What time does your day start?
Day starts, I'd say around 6 in the morning. Because I do the morning school run. So by around 6, I'm up,
What time does it end?
It depends. Usually, in terms of work, those days used to just be, whatever, 10 until the job's done. But of late, I've tried to ring fence my life so that it's not constant work. So that's how even the studio, at some point it was inside the house. And I've tried to make a separation where the studio is a 20-minute drive away from the house.
Yeah.
So that if somebody calls and says, "Yo, we need a last-minute thing," okay, tomorrow, because
I've knocked off.
Once in a while, if it's like a client you treasure, that guy that makes it rain in your bank account the whole year,
you
make exceptions.
Indoors or outdoor person?
I think I'm indoors.
Yeah.
Yeah, because to be honest, there's some places even in my yard I don't even. When I come out, I'm like, oh, flip, okay, so what's this?
Really?
Like,
strange.
Yeah, definitely indoors.
A foodie or not a foodie?
No, I'm not I'm not a foodie. Now I'm trying to even I'm not a foodie. There's some foods my daughters they're surprised that I don't even know what the name of this thing is. And it's like a basic thing, but I just
You have no idea.
I have no idea what it is, but I'm also now trying to just kind of watch what I eat because I'm kind of thinking that I need to start watching health better. So
So do you know your allergies? Do you have any allergies?
No, I don't have any allergies. No,
that you know of.
That I know of. Yeah, I think I even did a test like 10 years ago. You know when they prick you and then they measure it mulab what and there was something picked up. I think it was for like dust mites, but that's
Do you know your blood type?
Yes, I'm B positive.
Finally, somebody who does. Well,
so in case I'm in an accident right now, it's on record. You know who the donors be?
For the record, I don't know my blood type.
Really?
Yeah.
But you know why mine is easy to remember? Because I have to be positive. So that's how it's that's how I
like
remember
that.
it.
I like that.
If it was a negative or some stuff, I'd not remember.
What have you gotten away with because of your voice?
That's a tough one. I don't think there's anything that.
What are the perks of being the number one voice in Africa?
I don't even know if I'm the number one guy, because what are the barometers to measure it? Is it
It's a kudi
Kulimu, yeah. But you see, anyway, let me get to
Is
your
it
question. I was about to start now. Like, what are is it the money that you make? Because how do you know what the other dudes are making? What are the perks? No, sometimes, you get situations where because you're recognized, you might get preferential treatment, but it's one of those things which back then was because of being on radio.
Yeah.
So it happens a lot, but it's not something that happens frequently. Like my kids, especially when we're in Zambia, they kind of get surprised as to how things unfold. Everyone seems to know who their dad is, so I think it throws them off a bit.
Do they realize who daddy is?
He's dad.
To them, you're just dad.
Do you have that guy who tells dry jokes? but I think over time, I think they've started picking up that to some people they hold a special pocket in terms of my persona. You know what I mean? So like somebody taking a selfie is a big deal. So they're starting to understand that, and it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. You've done a lot of voices for big brands, like major big brands. But there must be somebody or one brand on your hit list that's like, I want to do this before I hang up my socks. This brand, I have to do their voice. Who is that brand?
That's a very good question. The thing is, because of the market that we operate in here in Africa, there's some brands that you can dream of doing stuff for, but they don't, produce stuff here. I mean, like last year, for the first time, was it this year? For the first time, I did work for the BBC. So there are a couple of BBC promos. If you drill down to it technically, those are BBC Africa promos. So they're not being seen in regions outside of Africa.
Yeah.
So the desire at some point, but if it's one of those things, what are you chasing as a person? So if I'm chasing the dream of voicing brands like Disney, Marvel, whatever, it might be a conversation of let's uproot and go to where that action is happening. But then, does that fulfill a desire to tick off a bucket list item, or is it more profitable? Because over here, we're very profitable in terms of how the industry is structured.
Yeah.
So it's one of those I could mention, brands, but practically I don't even know whether it's worth the pursuit.
It's putting it out
what I mean?
Into the universe.
But even if I put it out into the universe, I'm just saying that there's a bigger conversation of proximity, geography, and all those things, because it's rare that, for example, if I say I want to do movie trailers for, like what Gabe's doing.
For Marvel,
for example. Marvel's not coming to Africa to look for talent to do the. Who knows? Yeah. But you never know.
So
maybe
Marvel is one of them?
Perhaps. Perhaps. Especially now they want these Wakanda African voices. I can butcher my African. Yeah.
Okay.
Do a Marvel trailer.
So you won't mention the names?
No, it's one of those things. Like I say, so if it's just understanding that the industry works differently from how we perceive it. So when I do, there's a time long ago, one of my ads was playing during an ad break on CNN. And I remember a relative of mine very excited, like, oh, you made it. Your ad played on a CNN thing. But what they didn't realize is it's a regional broadcast, you know what I mean? So some ads will play during a CNN break, but then that's, over here.
Let's bring it to Africa.
Yeah.
Is there a brand you...
I should have just said that. Hey, I should have saved us time. Let me just say, what?
In Africa.
Boom. Okay, there you go.
Oh, come on. Come on. You've done Trade Kings stuff already. There must be one you haven't done in Africa.
I don't think so.
Yeah? See, you're a big deal.
No. But so you tell me which brand you think would be big. Then maybe I can, through process of elimination.
I think you have done all of them. And
but which brand would you think like that brand? Because then maybe through process of elimination, we can see whether...
in Africa...
Because you had like maybe Samsung on your mind, right?
No, what was in my head was Marvel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I could do a Marvel thing.
I think so.
I could do a Marvel thing, but it's not like something that I'm pursuing, and I wouldn't kind of, change my dynamic geographically to pursue it.
Yeah.
But it could happen.
If it came,
jump on it. I mean, look at dude. We're talking like this, and we're speaking at a studio in Lusaka, which is how many kilometers away from the studio that did the Wakanda Forever song? Yeah, I mean. So, yeah. So anything is possible.
Yeah. It is. It is. How has 2023 been for you?
Terrible. No, from a business career perspective, it's been outstanding. On a personal level, it's the first year where I've had like 2 surgeries or whatever, you know what I mean? So that stuff kind of has been different. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I think leading up to any medical procedure, there's a lot more anxiety before than after.
Yeah.
So I think, the before was like, oh, flip. So September, it's coming. They're going to cut me up,
Yeah. Was this like your first major surgery?
Dude, I used to boast that up until 2 years ago, I used to boast that I've never been admitted in hospital in my 40 whatever years of existence.
Yeah.
I'd never spent a night in hospital. I was like, I'm the poster child of good health, besides, a few extra kgs than I should have. But it was my first. No, I had surgery, I think 2 years ago on my shoulder or something. So that was the first time that, but that one I was awake for, and it was like damn painful. Those painkillers weren't working as they should. It wasn't good.
They shouldn't give painkillers.
Those
Those ones don't work. Just morphine me. Just morphine.
Yeah.
That's
Michael
it.
Jackson. What's that guy? Doctor.
The doctor.
Murray. Conrad Murray me.
Just morphine me. Dude.
But this other one now, they knocked me out, put me to sleep, came back out. Carol says like when I got up, she was bedside. I get up, first thing I see is, where's my phone? Where's my phone?
Where's my phone? Really?
According to her, man. Like, I was drugged up. Blame the drugs.
Wow, you were high. My last question, and I ask this to all my guests on the show.
Yeah.
Your unpopular opinion.
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Yeah, and I remember I watched your show when you asked K Smash one, and I think you said that's a tough one more times than I've just said. That's a tough one. It's tough because we live in a society where I can all this goodwill that I've had, I can say one thing which I'm starting to believe, and then you can just like, no, this guy believes one, and then creates a whole thing. But I think for me, it's how sometimes based on how we've been, raised, and how our society is structured, and how religion plays a big part of our lives, how we're very closed to having open conversations about, other things. We close ranks when somebody says the word rights.
Yeah.
Because we're all about, no. So, let's stone people. Let's, whatever it is. We're just so aggro and so energetic when it comes to how people want to live their lives. And over the years, I was that guy. So let me just, say up front, I was that guy. But over the years, I've realized, like, people are people. There've been guys I've been working with, I've been colleagues with, and I didn't even know that that's their lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then later on, when I found out, it's not like the person changed. It's me who's like,
you're the one who's changed.
Like, oh, flip now. But then now do I become like aggro? Whereas I've been,
cool with
I've been cool with this guy for like 6 years, and he's living his life. So I think the tolerance aspect, I suppose tolerance and just having open discussions about these things is something that I think, going forward, might be something that might be nice to integrate into our society. But having said that, obviously you'll know people will blow up your phones. No, this guy is an ally.
He's working for the enemy.
But people are people at the core of it, So even people who aren't of that lifestyle, we're flawed. What I mean? In other areas. And so we should just kind of realize that if we're going to put this standard on this side of things, it should apply across the board. Yeah.
That's it.
Did that scare you?
No, not at all. Not at all.
I try to code it
I'm
so
for
that
it.
I'm not cancelled.
Yeah, I'm for it. I feel
that's my feeling.
I feel we need to loosen up a little.
Yeah.
We're too.
Let's loosen up. We're too rigid.
We're too much.
Too damn rigid.
It's high time we loosen up.
I'm allowed to say damn on your show.
No, you can. You can.
I'm rigid.
I feel we need to loosen up a little. And I think us being rigid is also blocking us from a lot of growth, a lot of understanding, because we're so closed up. And this is how I was raised. Yeah. This is how it should be done. It's been done like this for 10 years.
It's like, I'll give you another example, maybe not to do with lifestyle. As Christians, we are very quick to shut down other religions that don't believe in the same thing as us. But very few of us reach out to understand what others believe.
Exactly.
I mean, I saw a book which said a Christian guide to how Muslims, belief system is structured or something. I think I even bought the book because if I read that thing, then I'll know how to communicate. If I'm seriously convicted that this is my message, it's easier for me to understand what the other religion is, so that I can communicate and there can be an exchange of thoughts. And if I then, have the capacity to convince and convert, then that happens. But if you're just like, no, your faith is wrong. Full stop. Why?
Your Jesus is wrong.
You know what I mean?
Ours is the real one.
So I think there's just a lot of that's lacking. I mean, guys don't even know the Bible inside out.
Exactly.
But busy, trying to attack. Yeah, so.
Loosen up, guys. We're getting into a new year. Loosen up. Just loosen up. Chilu, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Continue being the inspiration to a lot of us. A lot of us are learning from you, not putting pressure. A lot of us are learning from you, but also as we learn, we also understand that you're just human as well.
I'm learning from you as well, man.
See?
Off camera, you were teaching me, sharing some game about how I can move one of the brands that we're working on, you see. So I'm a student.
We're all student, and that's the lesson for me here is always remain a student.
Yeah.
No matter how much you are in people's ears.
What's that Pompey song? Qualified, no papers. No. Doesn't he have one where he says you don't graduate? No. Okay, maybe. If he doesn't have it, then maybe it's one of my new songs coming up.
It's one of your new songs. So yeah, continue doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you, man.
And you're kicking major ass, and it's inspiring.
I appreciate it.
Folks, that's it. Thank you very much.